Depois de termos ouvido o Bruno de Carvalho, Diretor-Geral da Orbit Portugal, a próxima intervenção vai trazer-nos vários casos que mostram o equilíbrio que deve haver entre tecnologias e trabalhadores e também como é que pode e deve ser reduzida a margem de erro. Um desafio, portanto, e chama ao palco Luís Bravo Martins, Diretor de Marketing da KIT AR. Olá, viva! Bom dia!
Good morning to you all. Thank you very much for inviting us. My name is Luís Martins. Thank you very much also for being here. My name is Luís Martins. I'm going to talk to you a bit about our experience at KTR at enhancing workers in order to reduce errors and waste in the manufacturing shop floor of the aerospace industry. KTR is a startup. We are an Industry 4.0 startup that augments workers. So just this sentence has, some topics that we need to clarify further. So Industry 4.0. So we heard about it. And in a nutshell, you know that we had several stages of evolution in our industry. In 2016, in the World Economic Forum meeting, we heard this concept for the first time. And it kinda is an evolution of the third stage. So if in the first stage, we got an industrial activity by mechanizing several processes. And in the second stage, we added electricity, and through it, we were enabled to do more and in a much more efficient way. In the third one, we added the computer, and then the first automation kicked in, right? And on the fourth, what we're doing right now is connecting all the systems that exist inside the shop floor. Now, we hear a lot about this, and we hear about also a lot about all the technologies that enable this. And sometimes this sounds as something that comes from a fairy tale, things that really do not apply. And you've seen in the past few years so many other companies saying, "Oh, but this is wonderful, but it's not for me," or "It didn't really work out," like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Today, we feel that some of that happens because we are not actually connecting all of the systems in the manufacturing shop floor. We are connecting all of the systems but one, the worker. We are right now integrating ERPs, we are integrating interfaces, we are integrating applications, but we are not integrating the worker and centralizing the worker and empowering the worker with all the tools that are around him. Now this is an issue, right? Because suddenly the worker is more and more of a user of an increasing number of tools that he needs to interact with. And more these tools generate data, and it's supposed for the worker to deal with it, right? So that is an issue. And we, at KTR, we started looking into that issue, and not just us, and clearly in the market, you see a trend that is focused on augmenting workers. So what is this? What are augmented workers? What is the augmented workforce? We're talking about enhancing, connecting, and even centralizing information, data, applications around the worker. So our vision, and more, that is the focus of the manufacturing activity that we are following up on, is not to replace humans by robots, because, well, some people already realize that does not make sense. And it does not make sense because a robot needs to be programmed. A robot needs to be has parameters. It needs to be put in place. A robot has so much flexibility. A robot can do the decisions that he is programmed for. So we're not talking about the same thing. Please do not mix up machines with humans. right? So, and it's really important also to realize that if we have the benefit and that potential in the human workforce, let's leverage it. Let's make it that happen. But how can we do that with screens? So sometimes that's not that easy, right? And at the same time, if you go around and you need to look and go to places and check data, that also is really, really, really heavy. So what we started to realize was that technologies like augmented reality and artificial intelligence directly contribute to enhancing this potential inside the human workers. So very, very quickly, talking about these two technologies. So the first one, being augmented reality. Usually it's mixed up with virtual reality. So in a nutshell, we're talking about overlaying digital content on top of the physical world. That's augmented reality, right? So this means that I am not in the virtual world. I am not transported somewhere else. I am here. I can see you all. I can see the floor, but I can also see digital. I can hear this, but I can also see digital items in front of me, and I can interact with them biologically in the same way as I do with physical items. So that's augmented reality, right? Talking about artificial intelligence is a bit different in the sense that it's a really big bag, but for this purpose and for the augmented workforce, the main topic clearly is this ability to integrate and to enable and facilitate access to data. So the possibility of, when needed, step by step, providing the worker with the necessary data for him to make decisions the best way he can, that clearly is something that adds on top of it's clearly what he needs to leverage that potential that I was talking about regarding the human workforce. Now, today, there are several problems, and focusing specifically on the manufacturing component, there are several problems that in production lines need to handle. So we're talking about rework, we're talking about all of this that you see are issues generated by errors, production errors. So production errors at this point are clearly one of the main issues that can be solved through augmented workers. Why? Because, again, most of these production errors occur due to human error. But machines would most probably not be able even to do the tasks that are appointed to these human workers, right? So today, fortunately, these technologies, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, they all have or enable us to do several different kinds of approaches. So as you see, one of them being, as you see, quality assurance. So the possibility, we actually do that with our solution, but there are several others in the market that enable you to to check if the output of a procedure was accomplished or not. And in our case, automatically you can actually check if that is okay, or if that output, so the result of the process of that worker was okay just by looking at it. But mind you, just the fact that the worker is able to go around the places and see instructions step by step on what he needs to do, when he needs to do it, in itself helps quality in the sense that it also reduces errors, right? At the same time, talking about the possibility of extracting the processes and visualizing the workflows and allow the engineering area to see how the process really worked out on the shop floor, that not only enables traceability of the errors, but at the same time also enables for the engineering area to detect the bottlenecks, to visually see the bottlenecks, and also the continuous improvement opportunities. So if we are to do actual on-the-fly continuous improvement, and apply lean in an efficient way, mind the pun, of course, artificial intelligence is the way to go, because we can continuously extract information and we can continuously act upon it. So if you want, all of these that are behind me are clearly topics that all end up in quality. We're always talking about quality. And that is, at the end of the day, what I think augmented workers can bring directly to a factory shop floor. More quality, much more quality. In the processes that sometimes is not that easy to achieve that quality. Now, for instance, I brought in some cases, cases that we know up close. So for instance, the possibility of logistics. There are several scenarios, logistics scenarios where augmented workers come into play, but this one is one that we have, I wouldn't say extensive, but that we do have some experience with. And the issue of just allowing the worker to see where he needs to go in order to do the picking and to bring up and set up the kits that need to be in place for specific tasks to be made afterwards, downstream, that makes absolute impact in the production line. More than that, each one of these steps can then afterwards be visualized and the workflow be understood by the engineering area. So, but this is just, again, one, for instance, assembly is yet another one. The fact that the worker needs to go back and forth to see what he needs to do, to check with the official documentation, with the training materials, with the parts manual, what he needs to do. So that can be all digitalized and put in front of the worker in a way that it identifies the several parts, several pieces that are in front of him, and apply that knowledge on top of those pieces, making it really, really easy for him to understand what he needs to do. So again, the benefits are huge. You have also the possibility of having, for instance, onboarding of new workers, being just entering the company, being done with resource to these applications, to these technologies. And of course, what this does is create this huge amount of confidence, because suddenly they are doing things. They are actually doing everything that they needed to do. So that's the purpose, that's the focus, and again, the most impactful characteristic that these technologies can bring and, well, to enhance the worker. And again, finally, the visual inspection, the possibility of even having through, not necessarily as you see, through augmented reality glasses or headsets, you can do this just by using a tablet, and you can apply directly the application in the space just by using a handheld device. So again, this to say that it's not something that is tied into a specific technology or again a headset. It's something that can be used in several endpoints. So again, the benefits are immense. There is this huge opportunity with augmented workers and augmented workforce. And again, my final takeaway is our vision is that more and more we will need to create better tools and create easier tools for the worker to connect with the remaining of the shop floor systems and to leverage all of the potential that exists there, and at the same time also value the worker himself with these technologies, because at the end of the day the technologies hold this power to value, to qualify people rather than replace them. Thank you very much.